And welcome back, everyone, to another week at Beyond the Trailer Park. And Happy New Year, because this is, of course, the first broadcast of 2016. So, as usual, we are joined by my wonderful co-host, Beth, over in Pennsylvania. How the hell's things in Pennsylvania?
Well, we're 4 days into the new year and no catastrophes yet.
Woohoo! And I would just like to say that my weather little app, whatever, in my taskbar here is telling me that it is minus fucking 17 out. Minus 17. Not
yeah,
impressed.
It was cold. It was cold when I ran next door to the store to get some soda, and I'm like, oh, I guess I should have worn more than shorts and a t-shirt.
Yeah, probably. Goodness. Well, we, of course, were hanging out just a few days ago, which was really awesome, and we'll get more to that. But, yeah, we're back in our respective own studios for the time being. But this week, we are joined by some of the folks from other show, the holy crap, the Vlogcast. So I will get to each of you individually. So first of all, we have Unrenowned Tech from down in the DC area. So
Maryland.
Greetings, Maryland. That's right, Maryland. And Tech has graced us. Yeah. I bet it does. Tech has joined us on the show once before, so welcome back.
Sparkly hands.
And I was commenting on his wonderful Renaissance backdrop. He's house sitting this week, so he's got that awesome colonnade going on back there. So enjoying that. So welcome.
No, of course, I had to put something more interesting behind me to keep the focus, you know.
Well, yeah, because you're coming from a different device. You don't get to have your black and white sort of Kafka-esque scenery happen in there, so I'm sorry. And we also have another repeat guest on the show, Ms. Brigid Fitch. Good afternoon, evening, whatever the hell it is now.
Howdy. Yeah, good evening. Hey, how's it going?
Not too bad. Good to see you again as well. You're looking a little bluer up top than the last time we saw you on the show, I think.
Yeah. It's a work in progress. Who knows what color it'll be next week.
Awesome. I've always said if I wasn't born a ginger, I probably would have been experimenting with the rainbow, but I kind of was partial to the ginger, so I never did that. But yeah, if you can do it, go for it.
I like ginger. It just doesn't work on me, but I've tried.
Yeah,
I'd love it though.
You should try
ginger pickled.
Yes, I can see that as well. So, rounding out this evening, we have somebody who actually hasn't been on the show before, but he's the guy that runs, holy crap, the Vlogcast. It is the Shujin Tribble, all the way from...
Is it you?
Yes!
My nickname.
Welcome to Beyond the Trailer Park.
Nice to be around with folks again for a change, and it only seems like only a couple of days ago that we were.
Doesn't it though?
It does. By the way, I got bad news for you. By the way, it's minus. You said it was what, minus 16 over there?
17.
17. Okay, we're at minus 13, and I just went and did my usual thing of looking up the information for our favorite place to pick on during the winter, Yellowknife. Did you see what Yellowknife is currently at?
No, please tell us.
Those bastards are at minus 6.
I'm at minus 2.
What the hell?
I don't know.
Okay, you bastards those fuckers are they're holding the sun hostage or something. That's
something
not
like that.
cool.
Apparently Alice Springs has got it right now because right now they're at 30.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's hot.
That's 30 in wacky temperature, right?
No, that's 30 as in like real numbers. That's Fahrenheit something god awful. Have a heat stroke temperature.
Okay, because
Yeah, with
Alice.
triple digits.
Oh, that's across the pond. Okay, gotcha.
And under.
And it's summer over there too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more in tune with Perth because Miss Donna is over in Perth, and since she voices the character that I write, I have to keep in tune with her time schedule a little bit. So I'm a little more. And Windows 10 has this cool thing I can add a couple of clocks. So I actually have Donna time available and Joseph time available. So I can know and see if I know Joseph time, then it's really easy to figure out Chris time because he's an hour behind. So.
Yep. So I get to do the same thing over on my phone, except it's got all the weather reports and everything too. I look it all up and it's just like, oh, that's nice.
Fancy schmancy.
Yeah, where I am, -12. That's nice. Tokyo's 12. Yellowknife, -6. What balls?
Yeah, that's just not acceptable. Like, what the hell? What the hell, Yellowknife? Like, how do you get off stealing all the heat?
Oh, it gets even worse. Calgary's at -8. So, blow them.
Dallin, what the fuck?
He's still sickly. Leave him alone.
Yeah, stop hoarding all the fucking heat, buddy. Oh, shit. Well, we should let people know. We actually had kind of planned to upload a pre-recorded show that Shujin and Beth and I did live recorded in Buffalo together.
That was fun.
It was fun. We had a good time.
Beth had a good time.
Murphy decided to kick me in the ass, and my camera quit recording after 35 minutes without giving me any kind of alert that there was a problem.
Steel toes.
Yeah.
Something like that. So that's going to be for the Patreon members now, right?
I think that was actually coming across my mind this afternoon, that I'll have to dig that out, and I might have to trim a little bit off the end so we're not like stopping in mid-sentence or something stupid, but yeah, I will have to dig that out and work on it, because we did have fun. We sat in our hotel and talked about all kinds of crazy shit, and I'm sure we'll talk about some of it again this evening, because I'm decided to wing it with the crap crew, as we like to call ourselves, or, well, as Katie likes to call us, Katie may pop up. She often watches here as well, so she may pop up and tell, or she may decide, well, I just watched those losers the other night, I'm going to sleep, so I don't know. We'll see what she decides to do. But, so, we thought it would be fun to bring the crap crew over this way, because, once a week just isn't enough, so here we all are. Some of the crap crew are probably sleeping because they're in Europe and it's only like 2 in the morning over there. So that's okay, fellas. You can sleep. We don't mind. It's cool.
Well, plus it's Tuesday morning.
In the morning.
What's that, Tech?
Only some of us have to go to work in the morning.
Yeah, well, but they do too. It's just that morning is, it's that whole time zone. No, they're not.
It's a wibbly wobbly thing.
Really?
Wibbly wobblies were little toys that I had. Yeah, although here we call them weevils. They're wibbly wobblies in England. So, trivia for those of you who don't probably give a shit, but Oh yes, and my crap crew friends, this is not a PG-13 show, so feel free to expound your expletives as you will.
I will certainly keep that in mind.
Because over on Holy Crap, we only let ourselves go every 10 shows, so.
Yeah. Well, that's remember that's kind of a self-imposed thing. I mean, we don't do it for any other reason other than just to have something different to entice people with from time to time. That's a very mundane water bottle you got there. You know that.
That's tea, okay? Like,
Oh, tea bottle. Okay, never mind. Yeah, speaking of tea,
here we go. Are you happy now?
actually, no, I'm not.
You just, you had to bring it up. So I thought maybe we could just talk about whatever, well, I don't really care. You can talk about whatever you like, but we might want to hit on some of the things that maybe were interesting or important to us over the last year, because, that's the thing to do when you start the new year is rehash all the shit that happened last year, but hey, why not? There's some value to that as well. So I don't know if anybody has anything they want to start with or they're particularly keen to discuss, but open the floor. Anybody has anything they want to start with?
I'll go with it. It's
Cool.
something that I had mentioned a couple of other places too. I'm very proud to say that this past year I have pissed off at least 4 people that I can think of, enough on Facebook by just talking that they just said, no, unfriended. Bye.
Woohoo!
And
Good job.
Good job.
Didn't lose any sleep over it at all.
That means you won, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, and the fun part about it was, as I had mentioned, by the power of Samsung, 2 of them I managed to do before I got out of bed.
Awesome.
Excellent. Well done.
That was a fun one.
Oh man. And as we said before, basically you just disagreed with them and that was enough to send them into a tizzy of blockitude.
Oh, my faith is so fragile, I must unfriend you.
Well, the best part about it is not so much that I disagreed, because, I mean, I got no problem with disagreeing with people. I got a problem with people who disagree with me after being shown the facts of how they're wrong from a third-party source that doesn't have a dog in the fight, and just, take those...
You feel like the differences between stating your opinion and manhandling somebody? That one was beautiful, dude.
It wasn't that, but it was kind of... That one, unfortunately... All right, what Tech's referring to is a video that I made commentary about, got into a debate through on Facebook. It wasn't that, although thank you. But there was something else where somebody posted something that was clearly, can I say in error? No, I really shouldn't. It was fucking bullshit. It was about actually your side of the pond, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Muslim. According to the article, some Muslims had said that they wanted pork-based products removed from the school lunches. The mayor of the city, town, whatever it was, said, screw you. And I read it over and I'm just like, nah, I don't think so. And I looked it up, and yeah, it was bullshit. And I called him out on it, and I said, yeah, the article's bullshit. Your sentiment to high-five it is bullshit. You got a better source, maybe, that's, like, legit? And it threw a tizzy, because it was like, guys, just give me something to hang my hat on. Anything, legit story, somewhere, come on. Nope.
No, of course not. That would be too easy.
Yeah.
Did I do bad?
Just a little
You're
bit.
fine. Yeah.
Because it said I was removed from the call. I was like,
What?
Oops.
No, I didn't do anything. Oh, well. You're back. That's the important part.
I'll behave.
Yay! Oh, and Beth says that Murphy's screwing with her internet service, so she may pop in and out. We'll see. Keep your fingers crossed. Don't bother praying. We know how effective that is, people.
Oh, it works for Joel Osteen?
Yeah, he gets him a fucking plane and a mansion, and yeah.
Well, if it's divine plan, who are we to pray and ask for it to be different?
Yeah, well, exactly. Exactly.
The secret is to ask for love offerings. That's how you do it.
Well, the last time I got asked for love offerings, I also had to get a checkup.
Ooh, you were asking for the wrong kind of offerings, my friend.
Hey, they were supposed to make me feel good.
Oh. Okay, I recommend.
Not where I was going with that, but okay.
I mean, isn't that what religion is for? To make you feel good, right? The same
Yeah.
thing. I was expecting something a little bit more, immediate.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, good job there, Shujin, getting all unfriended and possibly blocked, etc. That's always fun. I was saying when we did the show that didn't quite happen, it was fun when, like, I've got loads of Facebook quote friends, and for those of you who don't know, hopefully that part survived the original video because that's a thing now. I'll explain it later. Hopefully, yeah, so I have a lot of Facebook friends, and when I started this account, I didn't look at who was asking me to be friends on Facebook. I just kind of like, accept. Well, as it turns out, many moons later, there were some religious folks that squeaked in there, which, whatever, fine. But 11 months later or whatnot, they're cropping up and having a cow over something that I've said, and I'm like, for instance, the last guy was a Muslim. After the attacks in Paris, I wrote, it was actually a tweet, but it auto-posts on Facebook and vice versa, where after I said something encouraging in French, I came out with "fuck Islam," and the guy's like, "You're insulting my religion!" I'm like, you've been on my friends list for 11 months. Where the fuck have you been? I say "fuck Islam" at least once a week. Like, hello.
Yeah.
The correct response is, so fucking what?
Yeah. Like, suck it up, Buttercup. But yeah. So I've actually been. Oh, and there was a guy just recently. I think he was an atheist, and I disagreed with something that, like, it was a post on my wall, and he said something. I was like, oh, I disagree with that, or you're wrong, or whatever, and said I don't want that kind of crap on my wall, and next thing I know, boom, blocked. And I'm like, wow, that was fast. Damn.
From 0 to what the fuck? And like nothing.
Exactly. And I will say, like, I understand why some people block other users, especially if they're being abusive or, they're kind of stalkerish or whatever. But I've never blocked anyone on any platform ever on the internet. Like, not once. And I cannot think of anything personally that would cause me to block someone. Even if they were threatening and being stalkerish or whatever, it's not my style to block them. I would just laugh at them, and because bullies are cowards and they will go away if they realize they're not bothering you. But that's me, right? I cannot fathom these people who, the minute somebody contradicts them, they're like, blocking. I just,
Well, it's fear, and it's like they have no skills to deal with someone that disagrees with them.
Right.
It's like, or like we're in the same group. I don't know if you're in this group or not, but there's one guy, and I have blocked him because he's just so fucking stupid, and I mean stupid. I mean beyond stupid. That it really got annoying.
Right.
So when I have some fun, I unblock him. But it's just like he's the type that will post shit to for his source material as World Nut Daily or Matt Barber, Todd Starnes. If it's anything health related, it'll be Mike Adams' Natural News or Joe Mercola's site, and it's like, seriously, dude. I think it's like these are people that are not even scientists. Some of them aren't even doctors, even though they use the title, and you're citing them as your sources.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy.
Honestly, I think there's way too much leeway in this country to be allowed to use the doctor title and get away with it.
Oh, I agree. Like, okay, Kent Hovind says he's a fucking doctor. Like, what? I've got a copy of the man's thesis, and I actually posted in a group. Somebody used Kent Hovind as proof of something. I was like, Hovind, are you kidding me? I've got his quote thesis, a copy of it. I wrote better shit in 7th grade, man. Like, like really, honestly.
So what was it? Does he become a doctorate in potpourri?
I think so, although they called it theology. Yeah.
No, that's called the doctorate of bullshittery.
Yeah. It absolutely is a doctorate of bullshittery. I agree.
Is that comedians? Well, it's either comedians or theists, one of the two.
Sometimes they're both. Often.
Yeah, that's something that really, really drives me up the wall. These people that claim a doctorate in theology and maybe have even acquired a piece of paper that claims that they have a doctorate in theology. To me, all that means is that you claim to be able to answer questions about a book. Congratulations. To me, this is about the equivalent of having a participation award for reading. And then what more have you got for it?
You know, one of my coworkers, she ended up getting her doctorate, and she got it in the tech field. And I said, so what's this going to do for you? She says, well, what a doctorate really proves, okay, when I boil it all down, is that you are able to go out and do research, compile it all together, have it peer-reviewed, and shown that, yes, you did your research. And that's all a doctorate really is. Now, you do a doctorate in your field, you put it together, you know, you've done research in your field, end of story. So a doctorate of, in her case, IT, doesn't qualify her to go up and have a debate with somebody in a doctorate in quantum physics.
Yeah.
It's completely different.
That's the problem. Like when you're debating creationists, if you ever look at their lists of doctors in creationism, they're all mechanical engineers or medical doctors or dentists. They like dentists.
Yes.
That their field has absolutely nothing to do with evolutionary science.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I have more knowledge on evolution than these dorks do. Not that I would pit myself against somebody like, you know, P.Z. Myers or Richard Dawkins, but these guys know probably about as much about evolution as I do.
Mm-hmm.
They just like
exactly.
deny that it exists.
And they like to trot out, you know, any creationist with a quote doctorate as proof of, you know, oh well, they have a doctorate in, I don't know, Alpha-Getty or some shit, and it's like, oh well, because they have a doctorate, that must mean that they're credible. It's like, no. Would you go to a master plumber when you need, you know, a cabinet built? No. It's the same kind of shit, but it's like, oh, but they're a master plumber. Surely they must know everything about cabinetry as well. It's like, no, not so much. Yeah.
You know, I could see a mechanical engineer who's a theist try to use a doctorate in mechanical engineering. I could see them trying to use that to explain how a whole bunch of people way long ago managed to create some kind of you know, something happened in the Bible that can be mechanically explained, and I could see them using their background to do that. Okay, fine. You know, you're relating your actual field to it. Okay, cool.
Right.
But when you, as a mechanical engineer, come in and try to teach me culinary arts, and I've actually taken culinary arts, all you're doing is insulting my intelligence.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's like, go ahead.
I was going to say what I find funny is I've actually had class lectures when I was in college by Alvin Plantinga, William Lane Craig. And it's funny because they both have doctorates. Craig's is in philosophy and something else. And it's like when I look back on it now, I'm thinking, but yet I'm a layperson who can destroy your Kalam cosmological argument in 3 seconds or less.
Mm-hmm.
Or his whole justification for genocide in the Bible, the fact that he even touts that, it's like, and you have the PhD and I don't? Their knowledge is just, it's bizarre.
It is, and it's they twist it every way they can to make it seem more credible. And if you come across somebody like I mentioned a few times when I first started foraying onto the internet and seeing what kind of religious loons were out there, the group that I used to belong to, I was an atheist for like 17 years at that point. I'd never even bothered learning anything about evolution. I'd never heard of intelligent design or any of that crap. And of course, they thought they fucking died and gone to heaven. They're like, ooh, an atheist that doesn't know anything about intelligent design. Awesome. And they trotted out all their bullshit crap about the bacterial flagellum in the eye, and there was some kind of beetle that shot acid or whatever, and they were all like, ooh, see, it's intelligent design. And I was like, okay, so I don't know anything about this, so I'm going to go educate myself so that I can comment intelligently about this instead of going, oh, wow, I've never seen that before. Must be a creator. No.
Well, and that's what I ran into with doing the segment that I ended up doing today, which is going to be, at least 3 parts. But it's just like, I know just enough to get myself into trouble.
Yep.
That makes sense. And, I'm not one for debate. I don't do well on the spot. I get too flustered, and then I get really pissy, and especially if they say something like totally asinine that I just want to fucking strangle them, which doesn't work in debate. And I have a temper. When you guys, if people are going to be pisswad stupid, I'm going to call you stupid because that's what you are. I don't have the temperament for debating. So it's just like, and the more I dig, I call it my guru, and I've collected stuff over the years to try to familiarize myself with, but it was just like, some of the shit that I read, in the last 2.5 weeks concerning ID, well, it's the same as creationism, basically.
Yes.
It's just like, seriously. I mean, like, here, and Deb kind of knows about this, and the basis of my segment is that I got into a debate with an intelligent design dork who didn't claim biblical creation, but it was blatantly obvious he was. And even off the top of my head, I'm like, no, and no. And it's just like, I just don't understand the willful ignorance or the culpable ignorance.
Absolutely.
Like we were talking about when we were in Buffalo, I think the whole issue with ID and creationism in schools is going to be a huge issue this year, again.
Yeah, let's hope not.
Yeah, the biggest problem about... Sorry?
No, go ahead.
I was going to say this. The biggest problem with these people, and the reason why it's, like you were saying, that, you're a layperson, you can rip these supposed doctorates apart, it doesn't matter how you butter it up, it doesn't matter how many layers of Nutella you throw on it, it doesn't matter how many letters you've got at the end of the name of somebody that's trotting it out. If it's a crap idea, it's simply a crap idea, and there's just no two ways about that.
Although you could say you can't polish a turd. Unfortunately, Mythbusters proved that you actually can polish a turd, but
it's still a turd.
It's still shit at the base, And eventually, I'm sure it will start to smell again once the sheen wears off. Yeah, fun times. So, anybody else have anything that, from last year that they want to comment about or stuff? Well, I know, Brigid actually had a comment in our chat here. I don't know if you wanted to expand on that or if you wanted to bring up something else.
On tablet format, I can't see any of that.
Okay.
Okay.
No worries.
Well, I did my first same-sex wedding. I performed that, and that was really fun. And I did it in Kentucky, of all places, so that was like a big fuck you to Kim Davis. I was like, yeah.
Awesome.
It was fun.
So what brand of clergy do you have, or do you have several?
I have several, but the one that I popped out for this was Universal Life Monastery. But
I have that.
Also have that. You've got that one? And
Yes,
I do. Have the Church of the Latter-day Dude.
I have to get that one. I've got the Flying Spaghetti Monster, and I've got Universal Life Ministry or Monastery, whatever.
Yeah.
I've had that for a number of years now.
Yeah, I got that in 2010, but that was the one that Kentucky would recognize and take. So that's
sweet.
What I used. Yeah, that was fun.
That's kind of a bucket list item for me, is I would love to perform a same-sex marriage someday, preferably in and around an area that would piss off a lot of bigots.
I think it will. The couple told me they had a hard time finding someone to even do the ceremony other than going to the courthouse, which is, so they said, get business cards because we'll keep you busy.
Yeah, and actually we have Humanist Canada has started a humanist, what they call a humanist celebrant program, and there already were a few of them, and they've started a program where they actually teach people how to be a celebrant, officiant, what the laws are, that sort of thing. And there are several fellas that I know in the area, in the Toronto area, that are doing a pretty brisk business. Yeah. A couple of them are retired from their original jobs, and this is keeping them pretty flush right now, and especially in the GTA, they're quite busy. So
we had an issue with that in some states. It depends on the state, and that's one bad thing about having different state laws, is it's kind of a patchwork. In the state where I live now, which I'm not saying which one it is, there is an issue where humanist celebrants are not allowed to perform weddings.
What?
Yeah. Ugh. They have to be a member of the clergy, a member of the clergy, either a rabbi or a minister of the gospel. Now, they will accept the ULC ordination, but they will not accept a humanist celebrant.
Universal.
Will they accept a friar?
A what?
A friar.
Probably not.
Will they accept a friar? Because I was thinking about getting officiated by the United Church of Bacon. And they have friars.
Not. They would say that that's not a minister of the gospel. They're trying to keep out the atheists and the secularists from being able to perform wedding ceremonies in the state.
But now, if you bring in the Flying Spaghetti Monster, there is a gospel of the Flying Spaghetti Monster, because I have one. And
I don't think they would take that either. There's a list of ones that they will take that are not mainstream.
What? Ugh.
And so I'm trying to fight back on that front, but it's going to take a lot of doing. Wish me luck.
Brigid, you'll have to send me links on that, because that ties into a story that actually began with a situation surrounding a situation in a state that we won't mention last year, is that, and I believe Kentucky and Tennessee were two other states that basically said that even if you are a secular humanist or universal life church, if you do not have a physical building with a congregation, you also cannot do marriage ceremonies.
I saw that.
Or straight.
And
it's all tying into the RFRAs and the mini RFRAs, the state RFRAs, and they're silently pushing it in certain states.
Yeah, I had a friend, we've kind of lost contact, but a friend of mine that lives in Green Bay, and he was a card-carrying member of the Church of Satan back then. This is several years ago now. But he was asked to officiate a wedding for some people, and now we're talking a good 7 years ago, I think. He had to create an online presence to be considered a proper church, as it were. And so I think he also had Universal Life Church monastery credentials as well. But what he ended up doing, because he had a side business of role-play gaming called Eurasian Entertainment, and that goes back to Discordianism, if anybody wants to look that up. So he created the Eurasian, the Eurasian Life Church or something or other. The Eurasian Orthodox Church. That's what he created. And he created a website and everything. And as part of it, he even created saints. And I was the 4th saint of the church, of the Eurasian Orthodox Church. I was the patron saint of things I wish my girlfriend would do. Just so you know. Does that
make you a tainted saint?
Probably yes. I would think so. I even have the PDF certificate that he gave me. I have it framed still, and the website's since long gone because he didn't need to maintain it after he did the wedding, so it's gone. But that was great. The Eurasian Orthodox Church. I quite enjoyed that.
That's excellent. All right, so now, since you said that we don't really have to watch what we say, I'm going to go ahead and throw this one out there. In the states that say that you have to be part of an actual church, and yes, I'm using the air quote italic thing. Yes. Let me put this through because I've catching up on some of the podcasts. I heard this one come through again. Why are rabbis, Jewish rabbis, allowed to continue doing this, especially considering that rabbis are typically the only ones that get a pass for filleting little newborn boys after clipping pieces of their body off.
Jews don't have churches. We have synagogues and temples.
Yeah.
In any case,
Judeo-Christian thing. That's the Judeo part.
Yeah, in any case, I mean, the piece still holds. If they're allowed to go ahead and blow little baby after taking a scissor to it, why should they be allowed to continue to do marriages, and why should anybody else be disallowed because they don't snip and clip?
Exactly.
I mean,
because Israel.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, where I was really going to end up going with this was, if that's the case, why can't we have a church based out of a tattoo place?
Yeah, we should, actually.
To do piercings and whatnot for people who are of age and consenting. Why the hell not?
Yep.
Just a thought.
Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of it, too, and this actually ties into the 9/11 memorial, is that initially, when it was proposed, it was only going to be the girder that represented the cross. Well, some of those that are Zionist Jews, as much as I don't like using the term, I guess there really is Zionist Jews, were bitching up a storm because Judaism wasn't included. Well, considering who is really behind this push for the 9/11 cross bullshit are basically your end timers like Hagee and stuff. It ties all into that. They have to include Judaism so they don't piss the Jews off, even though they really don't accept Judaism, but they have to anyways because it encourages their agenda. There's a whole hidden agenda behind why Judaism is included, but they really don't want to because they still blame the Jews for killing Jesus.
Yep, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And that's the whole damned reason.
Yep. Well, and the whole, hey, if Israel gets established, they'll build a temple, and then Jesus will come back.
And also the part about anyone who is mean and beats up on Israel is going to be cursed by God.
Yeah.
Or something.
But yet they have flown there.
Whose fat ass are you calling for, Tech?
I said, hey, Israel, get your fat ass over here.
Yeah, so Jesus, yeah, any minute now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Lightning strike! Come on, do it! Fuck you!
If your ISP went out right now, you would freak. Admit it.
Yeah. Well, and what I find amusing is back in 2010, Jesus actually killed himself with his own lightning. So, you know,
I saw
what's
that. Touchdown Jesus.
Touchdown Jesus, baby. And now he's a $5 footlong Jesus. If you go back there, that's actually just
I thought that was Jared.
no. Well, okay, yeah, that's true. He goes a little.
He said, "Come unto me, suffer all the little children, or suffer unto me."
He prefers a little smaller than 5 feet, I think, or $5, whatever. But yes, the Touchdown Jesus is just outside of where our friend Callie lives. Actually, she mentioned that she goes by there all the time. I saw it.
Him.
I saw it a few years ago when we were going to Kentucky on a ghost hunting trip, and that's a whole other story. But we drove by it, and I was like, "Hey, I recognize that church. It's Touchdown Jesus." And then I Googled it because the new Jesus was there, and I was like, "Hey, when did they build that guy?" And that's when I found out because he's standing with his arms. Well, you can't really see in my camera.
He was like this, coming up out of the water.
Yeah. Well, they only had like half of them. Now they have all Jesus standing with his arms stretched out, like as if to say it was this big, and that's why they call him $5 footlong Jesus.
Yeah. Before it looked like he was going touchdown, field goal, something.
Yep. Well, and after all of the because they built it out of foam, like styrofoam, like who builds a statue out of that? After it all melted, he was Terminator Jesus for a while because all that was there was like the steel frame of his hands up like this, so they called him Terminator Jesus for a while.
Sweet.
So,
well, actually, the target was supposed to be that 24-hour adult superstore across the street.
Yeah. Damn it, God has really shitty aim, apparently.
Yep.
But like a poor marksman, you keep missing the target.
It did.
That's it. God is a stormtrooper.
No, God is calm. He's calm. It's from the Middle East, and he's always pissed off at everybody. He's got a bunch of people that are supposed to be in his inner circle that are really gung-ho for him, and he keeps missing every time.
Okay, I can see that angle too.
Yeah, that's sad.
Start striking people dead. He really needs to get his shit together and go talk to Zeus.
Yes.
Talk about a one shot, one kill. You talk to that motherfucker.
Well, now, as I learned today, apparently we atheists should be kissing up to Zeus. Yeah. So, and
don't do this. This would hurt my head even reading it. Don't even.
But Zeus is badass.
Well, somebody on the thread actually said, "Hail Zeus," but
Zeus spawned a couple children. We all know where the hell they came from.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
It just miraculously happened overnight, you know.
Yeah. This is true. And the thing with Zeus's children, when they croak, they croak. Like, that was, they pretty much, that was it. But, no, I found out today, and I'm sorry, Shujin, I have to because it's fucking hilarious. This guy, in a group that I'm in, claims that the word atheist comes from the word heathen, and that because the word heathens has the word Athens in it, we all secretly swear allegiance to Athens, and the Greco-Roman lifestyle is what atheism is.
Obviously, somebody needs to watch the Breakfast Club again. I wear the required uniform tights. Shut up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that because one word's within another, I don't think anybody, if those kinds of things held true, then I don't think anybody should ever go see a therapist ever again.
Probably not.
I for one,
Yeah.
need that in my life, you know. Honestly, I've been through enough shit. I just don't need that.
Thank you, Mr. Conroy.
Yeah, so that was my fun weirdness for today, because I couldn't figure out why this guy kept saying that atheists were persecuting Christians like centuries ago, and I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? And he was like, well, they used to throw them to lions and burn them. I'm like, those are Romans and those were polytheists, and that's where he broke out the whole Athens thing. I'm like, eh?
I would have been like, Georgia?
You
Somebody...
Athens, Georgia?
You keep using the word fun. I do not think that word means what you think it means.
No. Somebody else on my thread actually said maybe we're supposed to be pledging allegiance to Athens, Georgia. So I said, I guess that means that I need to take a sidestep on my way to WeddingCon and pay my homage to Athens, Georgia.
Yeah.
And the B-52s.
Supposedly. Yeah. Wow. So, yeah, if anybody ever wants to know what crazy group this is, just send me a message or an email or something. I'll be happy to share. Beth's a member as well, and we call it the crazy group for a reason.
Yes, we do.
We're nuts. So,
If you
Tack,
want to
have
lose
you...
a few brain cells.
Yes. There are people believing things in that group that I didn't even know was possible. So. Oh. What? Tack, what are you doing there? Now I can't hear you. Nope, I can't hear you. Oh, he's coming back. Okay. I was just going to ask him to comment on his stuff, but okay. Oh, here he comes back. Yay! Can we hear you? Speak. I'm not hearing you. Yeah, you sounded like really loud, like shuffling static, and then you were gone. So I still can't hear you. No. Did the connection... There we go.
Can you hear me
I
now?
hear myself. Yes. Oh. Okay. I guess that was a little loud. Sorry.
Hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, let me turn this down real quick here.
We've now deafened Tech.
Somehow my volume managed to reset it to, oh my god, that's loud!
Yeah, and those of you who will be watching the video later, he made quite the face when I answered him, so my apologies.
It's not your fault. The damn volume system reset when I pulled the plug out.
Hey. Well, I was just about to ask you if there was anything from the past year that you found worth commenting on or anything such.
Nothing that we haven't already said already. You know,
Okay.
it's just we've already covered so much. To go back and review, the problem is just the same damn thing every single time. It's just with different people in different places. You know, it's, oh, hate the gays because they're not, you know, because our religion tells us to hate them. But we need to love them. We just need to hate what they do. And it's like, well, great. Then you know what? I can tell you what. I can love you and hate your freaking religion. Well, I find that offensive. Who fucking cares what you find offensive? You are hurting a group of people in the name of your religion. I find that fucking offensive. Well, it's in the name of our religion, so you can't do anything about it. And it's like, yeah, I can. It's called a gun or a baseball bat or a knife. You start hurting my friends, I'm going to hurt you back. I'm not a violent guy, but for crying out loud, leave other people alone.
Yep.
And nobody gets it. No, the Muslims don't get it. The Christians don't get it. The Jews don't get it. None of them get it.
Yeah.
I have to make a movie reference because it's so apt at this point. You are a toy!
You are a delusional little man.
Because it's just a matter of that, from the inside of it all, it's so... okay, as people who are on the outside of religion at this point, who used to be on the inside, we understand. We know that it's tough to see outside of the bubble of what you've got, but, you know, just because we don't share your perspective anymore doesn't mean that we're wrong, because we actually have more view now, and that's what makes it, you know, more.
There's a guy that I talk with every once in a while at my local game shop, and the guy he's on the Christian side, and he and I have long discussions, and I do about 60-70% of the talking, because he wants to hear more about my viewpoints and my side rather than what he already knows. And some days that actually becomes me doing 80% of the talking because I already know his viewpoint. I've already been down that road. So I'm answering questions before he's even getting, what he's still thinking about asking them, while causing him to think up new questions that he's never asked himself before. And this is an on and off kind of deal in between us focusing on our games versus taking the time to sit down and discuss. And he's actually thanked me several times. He has come across many questions he doesn't have answers for. And, he goes back and he reads and he does other sorts of things. And he finds it absolutely fascinating. And, for somebody who's a theist who takes that approach, I have absolutely no problems with people like that. He doesn't use his religion to oppress other people. He engages in thoughtful discussion. He does honest research. He'll actually go back and research passages. He supposedly, I don't know if whether he's begun it, whether he's in the middle of it, or whether he finished it, but I did make the recommendation to him to read the different books in the New Testament side by side, rather than sequentially.
Right.
So in parallels. That's what I meant to say. Read them in parallel rather than sequentially. And he said I know he said he was going to try. I don't know if he actually started or what stage he's in. But considering the what he's demonstrated, having done the things he said he's done before in the past, I'm willing to give the guy, a little bit of benefit of the doubt and say, yeah, I think he's going to go do it if he hasn't started already. And so somebody like that exists with people like that. I really can. And there's a lot of them like that. But the problem is that the ones like that aren't out there stopping the other assholes who are cutting off other people's heads, or disemboweling them, or stoning them, or bombing them, or setting them on fire, or any of that other shit. So, yeah, really, the whole year's been the same old shit, just with different people in different places.
Yeah. And it's right. There are a lot of religious people that I have no problem with on an individual level. They are rational, reasonable people. They believe what they believe for many reasons, but they don't find it necessary to foist that on others. But they don't do anything to combat the crazies and the extremists or whatever that exist within the umbrella of their faith. And one of my biggest pet peeves, well, there's two. One are the moderate Muslims that do nothing to combat. They say, well, that's not my Islam, but that's all they do. And the other one that really pisses me off is the legions of Catholics that continue to pump money into that institution with the full knowledge of how that institution has been victimizing children for centuries. And not only children in the past, but a lot of people. But even in the last, 100 years, focus their victimization on children, and yet they're okay. Well, that was that priest or that diocese was corrupt, but it's not my Catholicism, and that drives me crazy. And I wish they would.
Worse yet, go for the worst aspect of that, which is, yeah, well, he did that, but he said he's sorry, so we forgive him. What
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Just like a case I posted the other
I'm
day.
sorry, I'm some religious fanatic, and I go over here and blow up, 500,000 people. I'm sorry. Can I be forgiven and go free now?
Yeah. What was that, Beth?
Well, it's like a case I was writing up last night. This guy was convicted in like 2007 of diddling children, and then he was rearrested in 2013 for child porn, but yet he was still allowed. They finally did defrock him, I think, in 2013, but it took a second conviction to get him defrocked. There's a case coming out of Connecticut at one of the boarding type schools where they have records now going back almost 30 years of kids being diddled, but yet people, one, still send their children there, although this just came to light this past month.
Right.
And two, like you said, they're still tithing and giving money to the church.
Yeah. Like
and
how?
It's not just a Catholic problem. I mean, it's happening. There's a imam in Chicago that was arrested, not specifically for children. It's happening in Judaism as well. Barry Frundle in Washington D.C. for videotaping in the mitzvah. Excuse me. So it's not just a Catholic problem. It's a religion problem. It's a get out of jail free card.
Yeah.
And law aside, look at not all of them, okay? Not all of them. But there are more than enough parents who their child was the one who was sexually molested by a pedophile wearing in the position of religious authority, going, well, don't talk about it because then you'll give that person a bad reputation. And they're saying this to their child who's just been traumatized. No, you did it.
He's such a nice Christian boy. He wouldn't do something like that. I was told as a 10-year-old.
Yeah, you're just angry at him for getting in trouble. What did you do wrong? The whole victim blaming.
Exactly. And and that's the thing that specifically the Catholic Church. At least in the cases I've been following, that is what they're doing. Their new tactic now is to basically defame the victims. Pass it off as...
Wasn't there a bishop who went on the news and...
Yes, it was regarding the recent Johnstown case, which is about 2 hours from me, with starts with an M, I can't remember his name. He basically said that a 10-year-old boy seduced the priest. Is basically what it boils down to.
For fuck's sakes.
Although he said that at the time of the initial accusation, it was basically, if I remember correctly, and don't quote me, I'd have to pull up the article, but he said this initially, and it came back to haunt him.
Yeah, I should hope so. Fucking idiot.
But the case was actually just adjudicated September-ish, August, and the priest was actually found guilty. And that's part of the problem, and that's one of the big pushes. Is like New York State specifically is looking into changing statute of limitation, and the Catholic Church is fighting it tooth and nail.
Well, of course they are, because if the statute of limitations is pushed back or dissolved, they're even more fucked than they already are, because they've had to fork out millions and millions of dollars in reparations, as they should. And I mean, they've got a fuck ton of money. And I think that they should be forking out that fuck ton of money to alleviate the harm that they have caused, and they should be prevented from doing anything that would allow that to continue. And of course they're going to fight it because, they've basically been allowed to run amok for 2,000 years, and suddenly everybody's like, whoa, wait a minute, you guys are a bunch of corrupt fucktards. Like, we can't let you guys run around doing whatever you want because you've got a collar on. Whoa, hang on. And they don't like that very much.
I got a piece for you on that one, though.
Yes.
As much as I would like the statute of limitations thing to happen also, specifically also, because, yeah, these people deserve justice. There's another piece about this one that I think is much more pressing, which is enforce the shit that you got now. Tear down the collared wall. If something happens, it needs to be gone after the first time, every time. And how sad is it to have to say every time? Because it is. I mean, this is an organization we know full well has got a history stretching easily 50 years, well documented 50 years, and then of course, who only knows how far beyond that before, but easily the last 50 years worth of documentation. That if it were grabbed, if it were searched for, if it was produced, fuck it, gone. I would I would find it incredibly difficult to believe that any organization would be able to survive that kind of disclosure.
Exactly. But they think they're special because, Jesus.
No, because they're allowed to keep too much shit on the internal.
That too. Sorry, I just have to point out. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I mean, expanding on something Shujin said, was that instead of moving the priests specifically to South America, which is another issue coming to light, do something about it.
Yeah. Throw their asses in jail. What was that, Tech?
I recommend castration.
I would be okay with that. I would. I was gonna.
I honestly think that really they need to stop. They need to get rid of this idea that somebody of the cloth needs to be celibate. They need to get rid of that concept because that's not actually how it originally was either. There were many priests who had wives.
Yes.
And they go around sexually molesting everybody because they were getting laid.
And even even after they outlawed the ability to officially have a wife, it was still sort of, ignored for centuries afterwards. And any of you that follow our friend Dave fucking Foda knows that he and I have been watching a lot of the Borgia miniseries lately, which highlights the life and times of the Borgia family. And their pinnacle of power was when Rodrigo Borgia became Pope Alexander VI. He had 4, 5, somewhere between 5 and 7 children, 5 of which he openly acknowledged. And brought them into his sphere of power. His one son was a cardinal for a while, and all of that. And that was just like, oh well, yeah, you don't officially have a wife, but everybody knows that you kind of do. And he wasn't the only one of that period. Lots of the cardinals had, regular mistresses, I guess, for lack of a better description, and it was accepted, even if it wasn't, legal in the church sense. And so you're right that this whole idea of trying to prevent someone from doing something that you are instinctually driven to do. Almost everyone is instinctually driven to have sex and theoretically procreate, and to deny that is what messes up people. And I think a lot of these priests probably would never have molested anyone if they could have gone and had a regular adult relationship in the manner that they had chosen. So I agree with you there completely.
Well, what's bizarre about the whole thing with marriage within the church and priests marrying, I'm in the process of reading one of Bart Ehrman's books, Forged, and he briefly touches on how the Bible is. It's no wonder these guys are so fucking confused, because the Bible says two different things. First, you have Paul says no, don't marry, but yet then he says the leaders of the church should be married.
Yeah.
So, like Tuck was saying, they were, I mean, years ago, they were, centuries ago, they were married clergy.
Yep.
Well, don't forget that. The whole part about the contradictions in the Bible, there's been a revelation about that. Apparently it was put in there by God.
Yes. Say that again, Tech. You got drowned out. It was put there by God to
weed out the atheists.
Yes.
Yeah, good old dork face himself. But and it's not even really a contradiction if you go by Ehrman's his whole premise behind his book Forged is that they think of the 13 Pauline letters in the Bible that 6 or 7 of them are actually forged, and when he uses that term, he doesn't mean it in the sense that we think of forgeries today, but that there were actually people writing as Paul, but was not Paul. Although the financial gain that we gain today from forgeries wasn't there. It was just they wanted to make a change within the church. But I'm only partway through the book, and I was just kind of more skimming it than anything. But
right.
It's kind of interesting that they're, regardless of which way they go, they don't even know if the quote policy is even in the Bible, because they don't know whether the quote letter is actually written by Paul to begin with. Exactly. So they're basing their institution of marriage on probably false doctrine.
Yep. Absolutely.
And that's what drives me crazy about anything. Not even so much a contradiction, is just that, and I'm going to refer to it, the article he was saying. I had posted it on my timeline through Twitter, and the funny thing that happened was I reconnected with my high school gym teacher, and she actually commented on that article and basically was saying, this, if we're weeding out the atheists by putting quote contradictions in the Bible, then I'm all for it.
Yeah.
I was like, okay,
yeah.
Well, I learned something new. I mean, and it's like I was telling Deb, this individual is somebody who, for all intents and purposes, is responsible for who I am today. I mean, she was my gym teacher through junior high and senior high school, and she had a huge impact on my life, and I didn't even know until that lie that she put in there in her comment on my post that she was a non-believer. I was like,
yeah.
Well, still an educator.
Woohoo!
But yeah.
Awesome.
It's like,
that line drives me up a wall now. All right, we put contradictions in there in order to weed out the atheists. That's great. If they're contradictions, what do you know that you're supposed to be able to trust?
Yeah.
Which one is it?
Now, I will say, in defense of Ken Ham, another article, or was it Hovind? It was Hovind, excuse me. In his defense, there was another article that came out from a gentleman who followed the whole trial thing, and allegedly, I haven't delved into the article real deeply, allegedly the video that Raw Story provided was edited.
Of course.
The clip itself, where he's talking about this whole thing, is about 8 minutes, and they left out part of the middle, and I'm seeing if I can find it.
Okay.
have the article. I just gotta find.
Okay. Well, I was just thinking, it's about that time for a break, and you created a lovely segment for this week. What's coming out of Havoc and Chaos this week? Beth?
Huh? Oh, I'm sorry. I zoned out.
I'm like, that's your blog, isn't it?
Now I know what
Duh.
that's like. Okay.
Yeah, I totally was off into space. I got into a debate, as I said, about creation and intelligent design, and basically this is a part one. I'm suspecting it'll be 4 parts, dealing with basically the junkyard fallacy.
Right.
And this is kind of an intro to the whole idea of the fallacy and why it does not work. And then in part 2, I'll be delving into it a little bit more.
And roughly how long did you end up with? I didn't get a chance to really look at it yet.
12 and a half minutes.
Okay.
I know it was under 13.
Okay, good. So, panelists, if you need a bio break or anything, you've got roughly 12 minutes to do that. So, and if everybody could mute, and that'll keep Google from dampening the feed, which is really irritating. And so we'll let Beth take it away with Havoc and Chaos's post.
Greetings and salutations. Welcome to the new year, and welcome to Havoc and Chaos Live. A weekly look at some of the batshittery we call news and the polls, pundits, and other off-the-wall people, myself included, who claim to know what is really going on in our world. I'm an atheist, a lesbian, and I have bipolar disorder. Therefore, hate of any kind is not welcome in my world. I'm opinionated, and my impulse control went by the wayside months ago. So, I say what I feel. In other words, stupid smart people piss me the fuck off. And be forewarned, I'm highly excitable, and if you are easily offended by 4-letter words or longer, you may want to go listen to something else. So, recently I became involved in a discussion concerning creationism or intelligent design versus evolution, or, more specifically, the principle of natural selection. In retrospect, the discussion goes much deeper than that, but I will save that for another day. Debating such is not my forte, and I approach it from a layman's point of view. But considering I was unprepared, I think I held my own. While the gentleman, Michael was the name he gave, involved claimed to be that he was not a biblical creationist per se, he did refer to creator or creative force. His arguments were basically the standard fare presented in such discussions. Michael's fallback position, which he used prominently throughout the conversation, besides the rejection of peer review because of alleged biases against thinking outside the box, i.e. Christian persecution complex, Michael felt that natural selection does not account for the introduction of new genetic material. Well, no shit, Sherlock. If you would quit conflating natural selection to evolution, it might not be so confusing. Natural selection is only one mechanism of evolution. Like I said, standard fare. What I would like y'all to do whilst listening is to remember I am a layman. I'm not a scientist, nor am I a researcher. Just like y'all, I get into these discussions and sometimes flounder around trying to hold my own against individuals who have a very polished apologistic agenda. In other words, they are religious fucktards. Science, on the other hand, does not have an agenda. It's either true or it's not. You either accept it or you don't. Now, my confrontation with Michael was, in essence, the straw that broke the camel's back. If his research, and he actually did refer to his team, and taking into consideration an author he cited was published by the Discovery Institute, I can imagine who his team consisted of. Is so fucking brilliant and groundbreaking? Why then is he hawking his shit on a BTR program? I even asked him when his paper was published and when he was receiving his Nobel Prize, but to no avail. And as I said, this was the straw. It was time for me to become better able to counter his type of bullshit. I wanted to know exactly how bad I did and where I could improve. This segment is the result of such. This segment is the accumulation of my Google over the years. It is a look at specific points with what I think are solid examples to refute those points. Whether a creationist or idea chooses to accept such evidence is a whole different story. But at least I know I'm not crazy. What was missing at first listen, though, was the tornado in a junkyard fallacy. It's always there. And it was, but I missed it in the beginning, as Michael repackaged the fallacy in more modern-sounding terms. He used a computer coding analogy, as well as moving the interjection of the creative force. It was an analogy I was actually unfamiliar with, and have come to learn that it's not new, and has been around for quite some time. So his claim for original thinking falls very flat. Just as with standard apologia, there is nothing new. It is just repackaged garbage. Other forms I've come across, DNA is like a computer, or DNA is like the data on a hard drive. There are others, but I think you get my drift. So today we're going to take a look at this analogy and why it's a fallacy. And even if there was a prime mover, Michael would still have to show this prime mover's existence, which we all know is not a possibility. And even if this prime mover existed, evolution would still be true. And just to note, it was at this point that Michael abruptly disappeared from the conversation. Stan, another participant, had alluded to this point, and I was going to drive the point a bit more, but didn't get the chance. There is no question whatsoever about the truth of evolution. I think we all can agree on that. The only debates that exist about evolution are the relative importance of different forces on particular cases. So with that said, let's take a look at the fallacy. A junkyard contains all the bits and pieces of a Boeing 747, dismembered and in disarray. A whirlwind happens to blow through the yard. What is the chance that after its passage, a fully assembled 747, ready to fly, will be standing there? So small as to be negligible, even if a tornado were to blow through enough junkyards to fill the whole universe. Originally coined by British astronomer Sir Fred Hoyle, it was used as an argument against abiogenesis, not evolution. It is an oversimplifying of a very complex theory, hence a straw man. Abiogenesis does not suggest that complex high-order beings appeared from primordial soup in one magical step. As an argument against evolution, it also fails, as one of the main mechanisms of evolution is natural selection, which is not random. What Michael wants to know is the initial formulation of DNA as it comes together in a system kind of way. So if I'm understanding his point of view, this is what we have. We have a computer program, which equates to ordered code. The ordered code is therefore the DNA. So he wants to know, how does DNA come together on its own? His answer is a creator. His conclusion is there had to be some intelligence behind the order and complexity of this so-called code, i.e. DNA. Now, as much as Michael likes to state that he is not speaking to abiogenesis, he is in fact making such a claim, the initial formulation of DNA. But in my opinion, I think he makes his first mistake by referring to DNA. What I think he should have said, for a better but still flawed analogy, is genome, which is the complete set of DNA, the hereditary material that makes up the genome, or the ordered code, of which DNA is part of. That aside for the moment, it really matters not in the grand scheme of things whether genome or DNA. Arguing from analogy is a bad idea, and it always fails. And instead of discussing the actual issues, intelligent design versus evolution, the conversation devolves to arguing the points of the analogy. Analogies are a teaching tool. They are for describing a difficult concept to someone who has no experience with that concept, i.e. a fifth grader, by relating that concept to something they already understand. Then they can begin to see how that concept works. But
DNA cannot be placed in isolation or taken out of context. It's not a standalone piece of the puzzle. As one blogger, Smilodon, notes, it gets us into some really techy areas of chromatids, histones, and effects on replication, translation, mutations, etc. One final point concerning analogies. As with Paley's watch, the junkyard analogy is comparing a non-living object to living things capable of self-reproduction and subject to mutations. Again, referring to Smilodon, he points out there is a false analogy because watches and living things are so very different. A comparison between the two cannot be valid, with an invalid argument regardless of whether living things have a designer or not. So let's take a little bit closer look. As noted prior, the junkyard analogy can be attributed to Fred Hoyle as an argument against the abiogenesis. What was not mentioned in that brief introduction, the junkyard analogy is a statistical analysis applied to evolutionary origins. In other words, the statistical probability of life originating by chance. There are earlier iterations alluded to by the ID crowd, such as the so-called Burrell's Law, as well as other bad analogies. But regardless of which is used, they all fail as noted prior, because watches and living things are so very different. A comparison between the two cannot be valid. Also, it gets into the sticky wicket of probability argument after the fact. Just the fact that the fact happened screws up the probability of the fact happening, if that makes sense. Ian Musgrave, in Lies, Damned Lies, Statistics and Probability of Abiogenesis Calculation, highlights 5 problems. Now, while Musgrave goes into much more detail, his overall conclusion, the very premise of creationist probability calculations, is incorrect in the first place, as it aims at the wrong theory. Furthermore, this argument is often buttressed with statistical and biological fallacies. Remember, abiogenesis or origin of life is not evolution. They are two distinct fields, with natural selection, which is Michael's apparent issue, being just one aspect of the later. As Dr. Muhammad Noor references in my class on genetics and evolution, natural selection is one driving force of evolution. It can be one reason that evolutionary changes happen, but importantly, it is not the only reason evolutionary change happens. And he goes on. In essence, the junkyard analogy is, well, junk. It doesn't really explain what the ideas or creationists thinks it does, and it overlooks the differences between complex living organisms that are able to reproduce themselves with inanimate objects that are unable to pass on any reproductive changes. So, that in a nutshell is a more technical look at what is wrong with the junkyard analogy. But what about for us peons that don't have the science at our fingertips to counter the bullshit? What can we do besides using our Google tool? Well, 10 years ago I came across a really nice breakdown of what is wrong with the junkyard analogy. I've broken it down even further to what I call a kiss it. Keep it simple, stupid. And I kind of call it the junk of the fallacy. Random chance, single step, nothing is like it should be, and the fourth one, predetermined target. So, next week we'll take a look at what I consider 4 primary points of contention with the junkyard analogy, and how one can begin to counter the bullshit. Now back to the show and our discussion with Shujin Tribble. Back to
Wow, that was enlightening.
Yeah. Yeah. Hence why it's 4 parts, because that's like 10 pages.
Wow. She's nothing but thorough. I gotta hand it to you.
Well, the more I dug into it, because I had never heard the computer analogy before. Suffice to say, I mean, I don't really like to debate creation and evolution because it's pointless. And when they, like I said, when you start to argue analogies like the whole computer code, and DNA, you can actually take that analogy down even further, where down to letters and numbers, actually being the DNA. It's mind-boggling what they do, and what I found was there's just different versions of the same analogy. And what this guy did was basically, I didn't catch it until like halfway through that he was using this analogy. Now, he claims that he's part of some sort of research team, and I'm beginning to wonder if that may have been Michael Behe of irreducible complexity. Yep. And I will touch on that in one of the points, because the whole idea of the junkyard fallacy actually goes to that one specific point of irreducible complexity. And that's why it fails, because it was, we all know from Dover versus Kitzmiller. Yeah. But it's kind of a fascinating topic, but it's one that, like, I found if you keep it, the main one is that it's targeting, has a specific target in it, that you can pretty much demolish it right then and there, because evolution does not have a specific target. Yeah. You know, the interjections of mutations may be random in themselves, but natural selection, which is the process of incorporating those mutations, is not. It's actually guided by laws of physics.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
That's one of the it's one of the biggest tropes I keep hearing all the time. Oh, you think that life just randomly happened from nothing? I'm like, no.
Well, he actually tried to say that to me later on in the discussion, that and I'm like, no, I did not say anything about nothing.
Yep.
And there was, I don't know if you guys remember the article that came out last year, where a MIT researcher has said that he may have figured out how the chemical elements combined to, you know, formulate DNA. I mean, it starts with RNA, and it gets into a lot of sciencey stuff that I'm actually taking a class on genetics right now, because I wanted to learn how to counter this bullshit.
Excellent. So excellent.
Yeah, yeah. I'm a little rusty, so I was like, well, I better take a genetics class.
Well, you may want to expand beyond that, because there are a bunch of mathematicians that got together with some quantum physicists who've come up with their math says it's true, and others are checking their math and things like that. The way the process is supposed to work. But they figured out that in a universe where nothing exists, nothing being where energy has an absolutely neutral state of charge all across all of existence, then something must actually come from nothing. That it must occur. It doesn't say exactly how long it takes to happen. It doesn't say that it's at an interval or anything like that, but it says that it must happen.
Yeah, it goes to the whole second law of thermodynamics, which is, if you debate any creationist, you know that one gets thrown in there.
Oh, yes.
But what they always leave out with the second law is it's speaking of a closed system. Well, yes. The Earth is not a closed system. We ourselves are not closed systems, nor are any organisms. And the universe as a whole is not a closed system. So there's always been something.
Mm-hmm.
No. What I'm saying is that for when you hear theists go, well, something can't come from nothing. Well, actually, according to a bunch of scientists and physicists that got together, if you have absolutely nothing, something must actually come into existence. They just don't know where it's coming from, but it must occur according to their math.
Yep. Yeah. And then there's the whole debate of what nothing actually is.
There's nothing in the case that I was talking about is actually an energy stage.
Mm-hmm.
And in their case, nothing energy-wise is complete neutrality.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah. Hot pocket.
I was going to say, what's Tech got on the plate over there? Hot pocket. Oh, goodness.
Yeah, Beth, I'm sorry, just before we move on from that, Beth, see, the thing, like I was saying before, it really doesn't much matter what your level of education is once you've got an understanding of what these excuses are. And I'm going to call them excuses because they don't have anything that
exactly what they
solves anything. Yeah, whether it's a computer code version or the 747 from a junkyard or the Mustang from a junkyard, it's all the same crap overall. And let me give you a little peek into what I'm going to be using for the show next week. By the way, or this upcoming week. Yeah.
You get a teaser.
Yeah,
Do I need to take my shirt off?
I hope not. Is it possible to have a straight piece of lumber meet itself?
Depending on how. Yeah, go ahead.
If you were to take a 2x4, normally these things are cut out at 16 feet long, I think it is. Something like that. But if you were to theoretically take a 2x4 and check it with a plumb line or with a level or however whatever method you wanted to do, could it meet itself if it was as straight as you could possibly figure it out to be?
Well, one answer would be yes. If you're using a level which relies on the gravity of the planet, you're going to make a perfectly level circle.
Yep. Now there's the thing where I'm planning on using this as my analogy for how do you explain evolution, because you could use every device that you've got available to you and have a completely straight, as far as you can tell, piece of 2x4 that eventually goes around the Earth, but you could never detect that it was off by just that fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a degree. But with the entire surface of the Earth as your playing field, that's a long, long, long distance, and that error crops up after a while, to the point where the whole thing finally butts up against itself.
There was, I've been watching top 10, top 20 lists on YouTube lately. It's a nice filler when you want to just have something on for a few minutes at a time. And they had, there was one top 10 engineering fails or something. And they actually showed, I forget where the hell they were building this, but they were building a bridge from either side of wherever it was, and when they finally got to the middle, they realized that thing was not meeting, and yeah, it was
I remember that
engineering fail. So that no, I believe it, because if you're, like you say, if you're off by a fraction when you get to the middle, oh, you're screwed.
Yeah.
I would like to point out that. Go ahead.
I was just going to say to expand on Shujin's point about them fighting so hard against evolution is that, and I've said it before, you eliminate creationism or intelligent design, you eliminate the entirety of the Bible.
Yes.
You eliminate the entirety of the Bible, you therefore eliminate the authority of the church. And I'm not just saying the Roman Catholic Church, but any church, well, pretty much any of the Abrahamic religions.
Yes.
And that's why they fight so hard, because if they lose this battle, so to speak, they lose everything. And that's why, in Ken Ham, I think it was Ken Ham, even has gone so far to say if they lose the authority of the Bible, they lose the battle against LGBT rights and any civil rights, really. But he was primarily focused on LGBTQ because at the time it was when the Overveld ruling was coming out. So, I mean, they have, and this is what makes debating these people so difficult, they have an agenda.
Yes.
Whether they want to admit it or not, they have an agenda. They have to defend creationism to the death. Because if they don't and they lose everything. And it's really hard to argue against that because it's like I said, science is just it. It is or it is not. You can believe it or you can't. And they choose not to. And I mean, the next episode, I have some specific experiments, for lack of a better word, that actually show every step to counter the so-called junkyard fallacy is a one-step process. You get the junky parts, you get a flying plane. Evolution doesn't work that way. We can see it. Just a precursor, Darwin's finches. I was speaking to a couple bloggers that are actual researchers, scientists, etc., and they actually gave me some other studies that they've done to help buttress my examples. And I know these are studies that probably most creationists don't even know about, especially if they are in the Michael Behe vein, where he didn't even read any of these studies. He admitted it in trial, in the Dover trial, that was it the flagellum?
Yes.
That he didn't know anything about. He said, "Well,
no.
It
was the immune system, the evolution of the immune system.
Yeah. He actually admitted in court that he never read any of the science.
Yeah.
And I wish I would have asked Michael, and I'm hoping he comes back on the forbidden fruit. Is what studies have you actually done in a lab or observationals to show that intelligent design works? Because if you break it all down, basically all they do is theorize against these studies. And I don't know how many articles I read, but every counter argument I read, there was no science in it. It was just basically, nope, this is flawed for whatever reason. But there was no quote peer review.
Well, I'll take that another step. It's not even a matter of that there's no peer review, is that there's no positive claims at this point.
Yeah.
It's all been, you're wrong, therefore me.
Yeah.
Well, wait. There's also been, I've got this book.
Yes, that's coming up.
Yes.
That still follows into the same thing, because then that's justification. Mm-hmm. That's as far as it goes. So
I just wanted to get Wolverine in there.
Oh, he's coming, trust me.
He's coming.
But yeah.
Oh, yes.
I just find it interesting with kind of taking a step back from the work I've done on it so far, is that the whole debate between creationism and evolution is a lot deeper than just the science. Mm-hmm. It's just, I have a feeling this is going to be a long.
I was just going to say, if anybody was hearing my cat yowling a minute ago, she keeps bringing me this little soccer ball and wanting me to throw it down the hall for her. So,
wait, she wants to play with your balls?
Yes, she plays with my balls all the time. She's become obsessed with these little guys. I bought 6 of them last week, and they keep cropping up all over the house. And she will bring them back 5, 6, 7 times in a row and have me throw them. So we're calling her Callie Beckham these days, or Pele Pussy, either way. Yeah. So. Yeah, she's my cat's obsessed with little foam soccer balls. So yeah.
I may never come visit while wearing boxers.
Yeah, probably a good idea. Oh shit! Yeah, the
grandfather clock.
Sorry, what was that?
I said it's bad enough to feel like a grandfather clock when you walk, but hey, you don't need some cat. Oh, toy! Boom!
Yeah, she might. You never know. Hubby's not one for wearing boxers, so she may not have seen that before. Just saying.
Oh shit! I just had the two Jews from Mel Brooks's History of the World Part 1
Yeah.
scene go through my head.
Uh-huh. Oh man.
Oh, to attribute music to so many things.
Oh shit. And you were talking about Amish Wolverine. Well, let me just see. And
They took cards to break down my walls. I didn't even know them. I started playing ping pong with my balls. Lady agony. Holy shit. I have my practice public for a game. Sorry, I had to
of course, my Hangouts is being silly, but there you go. Can you see that?
I have a book.
Yes. There we go. And for those of you who will be listening, I have a lovely picture of Amish Wolverine, claws out, telling us how he has a book. So there you go. Fun times. Yes. I'm trying to stop sharing. Damn it. It wouldn't let me share the application. It made me share the screen. So sorry for the infinite deja vu there for a second. Oh, well. So we're getting near the end of the show here. Anybody have anything else that they want to explore or discuss before we call it a night in the next 20 minutes-ish?
Actually, I do.
Okay,
today,
please.
I came across a video that, for those that don't know, Acharya S., also known as Dion Murdoch, passed away on Christmas Day.
Yes.
And Mythicist Milwaukee, who she worked with quite frequently and were avid followers of her work, did a tribute podcast that they published today. And
wow.
if you are, they had David Fitzgerald, Robert Price, and Miguel Connor, who does AM Bites, which is a Gnostic-leaning podcast. Acharya was a guest quite frequently on that show. So they put out a video today that I thought was just excellent. So I'll throw that in the group and on our page. So if you guys want to watch it, you can.
Excellent. Acharya was a guest on the show about 8 or 9 months ago, and we had a really good time with her. So it sucks, and as our friend Shujin said on the show that we didn't actually get recorded, fuck cancer. So there you go. And speaking of fuck, Dave fucking fuck Foda just showed up. Howdy.
How's it going?
It's going well.
This is the baby.
Oh, look, we have, what do we got there?
This is the baby ferret.
Baby ferret. Aww.
Is that Photo's new nickname?
No,
Yeah.
he's Stormageddon Fear Me.
Aww. He's
I
very
didn't name him.
She was holding that up for my benefit because I commented on that photo earlier.
Yes.
And
Aww.
the other one is pulling Tupperware out of the cabinet, so I'm going to kill it.
Never a dull moment in the Fitch household, right?
Never.
So,
Two
Foda,
ferrets, 4 cats.
how the fuck are ya?
I'm doing well, and right before you figured out that I was on, I heard you say something about Shujin saying "fuck cancer," and I totally agree.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's been about, at the end of this month, it'll be 3 years for me cancer-free.
Good for you. I'm glad. Yay.
Very proud to hear that.
Woohoo!
Absolutely.
And I'm coming up on a year cigarette free too.
That's right. That's right. That is amazing. And good job with that. How goes the vaping? Because you were trying to cut down on that as well.
Limited success.
Yeah.
But like I
Well,
said, it's not got the smoke and pollutants going into my lungs. No carcinogens. So
exactly.
one good thing.
Exactly. That's half the battle right there. Oh, Tech is doing his shirt up again.
Yep.
You missed
steps,
it.
man. Baby steps.
Well, you
By the
missed
way-
it there.
By the way,
There wa- Mhm.
I got a lot of pushback because of that ticket I got on Christmas Eve. I talked to my lawyer today, and he basically told me, yeah, we shouldn't have any problem making this go away.
So I missed that. So what kind of tickets did you get?
A big one.
93 and a 70.
Oh. Okay, well that's pretty slow as far as Magnum's concerned, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. I thought so. Because I know, well, we didn't really go full bore when we were driving around in Magnum because we were mainly in town. But I know you like to let Magnum have his leeway. Oh, and look, Tech has a pussy on his lap. Hello, pussy.
Her name is Meow Meow.
Hello, meow meow. Aw, pretty pussy. Yeah. Sorry, we had to segue for pussy there for a second. My bad.
Hold on a second. Tech, really? Meow meow? Are you sure that this is...
I did not name the cat. The cat's not mine.
Okay, because I was going to say, that's like the name that you'd give a Pokemon.
No, Tech.
No, the cat that I named, that's my cat, is named Bunny Rabbit.
No, that's kind of like my friend's snake that was named Fluffy. Yeah, Tech is house sitting.
I got nothing.
Tech is house sitting, thus the cat is not his. So there you go.
Other people's pussy.
Other people's pussy, you got it.
Not your own, why not somebody else's?
So you got burned on Christmas Eve for speeding, huh, Foda?
Well, I shouldn't have been speeding on Christmas Eve because on holidays is when the troopers are out in full force, and I knew better. But I was trying to make it to a family engagement. I was already running late, and traffic was fairly light. So, and it's Magnum. I mean, come on.
Yeah, you gotta let Magnum rip from time to time. Because, it's Magnum. Oh, wow. Well, all right?
We're talking about the condom, right? You never want a condom to
They don't make a condom big enough to fit my car.
Well, you could take it to one of those shrink wrapping places and have it wrapped in a pseudo condom, I would imagine. Just saying. Probably could.
I'm trying to visualize that and just no.
Dave, I can basically explain it. If you've got a dry dock anywhere near where you live, there are places that will put up boats for the winter, and they will shrink wrap the fuck out of them.
No, I know. We've got Lake Norman and Lake Wiley right near here, but doing it to a car especially to Magnum, is not something that I can envision and still keep any self-respect.
You know what? When ReasonCon comes up, I'm sure that we could probably find some heat shrink tubing and take care of that for you. So you won't have to do it yourself. We can just let you see exactly what it's like. Proof of concept, if you will.
Oh, and he just crapped out on his phone. What do you know?
Because of course he did.
He'll be back. He
He didn't want Shujin tracing his IP back.
Yeah, I don't do that anymore.
Nah, he'll be back. He mentioned to me, he messaged me just as we were starting the show to send him the link because he might have time to drop in. So obviously he did. So, but I didn't mention it because we weren't sure, and besides, he wanted to surprise everyone. See, there he is.
The correct response is we shouldn't have to do that anymore.
Yeah, Shujin thought perhaps that you were afraid he was going to trace your IP address, but he doesn't do that anymore.
No, not afraid of that. No, right before I dropped off, I was saying something about ReasonCon not happening in 2016.
Right. We knew that, but Shujin's making plans for 2017.
I see. Okay.
Yes, because after
he thinks ahead.
well,
Yes.
Then I may wind up driving Freddy instead of Magnum, and that way you won't know which one he is.
I'll just look for the one with the red light in the front that's popping back and forth. The one of the things that we ended up talking about when the girls were in town was how I felt like I actually missed out by not going to ReasonCon this past year. So I have every intention on making the next one, even though it is going to be 17. Yeah, I will be most assuredly there this time because I am not missing out this time.
That is excellent. My fucking cat is playing with my curtains. God damn it.
Yeah, my only concern is when it's going to be, because if that's going to be on the same weekend as my long show, that could be a bit of a juggling match.
I'm not sure. Like this past year, it was end of April.
Okay.
So it's going to be like end of April, beginning of May-ish, I would imagine.
All right, then that's doable. Good.
Yeah. Well, we'll tell Gene that he has to make sure that Shujin can make it. So, you know.
Yeah, that's right. I don't think. Oh no, it's David that we have to tease about. Mr. The Photo, you don't know about my 36-hour weekends, do you?
No, I don't. Do I want to?
Actually, yeah. Yeah, I think you do.
You do.
For the last,
Or how about the one where you did it like the Joker?
Oh God.
Give him a sample. Give him a sample.
No, not right at the moment. For the last couple of years, I have been doing some DJ stuff in Second Life, and one of the groups has helped me to do a fundraiser, and I've been doing a fundraiser the weekend closest to when my wife passed in 2005. I do a 36-hour marathon.
Wow.
On top of a 3-hour show that we do before that, which is at the end of my full workday on a Friday, starting from a Friday and running from 12:30 Eastern Saturday morning and going until 12:30 afternoon Sunday Eastern.
So, in other words, you're getting your Coke from the same supplier that Charlie Sheen does.
Nope. Coffee, occasionally getting up for a quick shower, just to keep me awake, but all for charity for a local cancer research hospital, because, as was said before, fuck cancer.
I agree completely. Good on you for doing that, brother.
We and he'll often have people pop on Skype with him as well. So I popped on and hung out for an hour or so, and so there you go. You can sign up for a hangout slot. Well, it's Skype,
Sort
but
of.
you know what I mean. Yeah, and kind of.
Well, I help too. I pop in on Skype and I pop in all those one-liners.
Absolutely, and you can bring your borrowed pussy next time too. There you go.
Sure, why not? Yeah. So the thing of it was, one of these days I'm going to end up having the opportunity of telling Mr. Michael that 24 hours on for a charity. That's quaint.
You mean
Smalley?
Mr. Smalley.
Oh yeah. Sorry, think of the wrong guy.
Yep, Mr.
Oh.
Silly.
I got too many names in my
I
head.
know, there's too many goddamn Davids. Like, what the fuck?
It's because we're all kings.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Bruce. Is your name not Bruce? No, it's Michael. That's going to cause some confusion. Mind if we call you Bruce?
Or Dave. Because, I mean, like, even my fucking stepfather's Dave. Like, it's just, yeah. Too many fucking Daves.
Really just tech up is Dave Michaels.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's what I get.
Uh-huh. Yes. Well, that's cool. So we'll be looking forward to that when that happens as well. But you're going to get your ass to ReasonCon when it happens next year, for sure.
Yep.
Because we understand...
Directed at me or at
What was that, Dave?
Was that directed at me or at Shujin?
Shujin. He will
Yeah.
go. We know you'll be there, Foda.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'll be back.
I might not be staying overnight this time.
Well, it's close enough. You don't have to really
It's
necessarily.
an hour. Actually, it's less than an hour.
Yeah.
It's just so much more fun to stay the night.
Yeah, it is. So you don't have to worry about driving, and
And you could actually do a live show from there. Well, I take that back.
you
We
could.
tried.
Yeah.
Ken
Gibson
Ken.
Yeah, he tried to do it and just didn't really get a good connection. And then when the night program started, there was too much noise for him to do anything. He tried to do it again from the hotel room. I think he had some limited success there.
He actually managed to get most of a show out from his room, so the connection was better in that building, apparently.
Well, the venue, as I understand it, the venue for ReasonCon in 2017 may be changing.
Okay.
I don't know that for certain, but that's kind of what I'm feeling. I'm actually friends with one of the bartenders that served us.
Yes.
And she was telling me that for some reason, hotel management or perhaps chain management was having a problem with conventions either being able to manage them or host them or whatever.
Right.
And the sad thing was, and I don't know if this is related or if it's related, how it's related, but she told me that she was not permitted to serve any more ReasonCons.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what that means. I haven't talked to her in several weeks, so I just don't know.
Yeah. Gotcha. Oh, I just popped over to the Q&A, and I was right. Miss Katie did come by and say hello. So, hello, Katie. Hope you're still listening there. She said she was actually not too far from Athens, Georgia, that we were talking about earlier. And gentleman named James that we hadn't seen before, but hello.
Welcome.
Yeah.
The craziness.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Foda, before we call it a night, anything you wanted to talk about or discuss? It's getting near there, but we can fit in a few minutes of chit chat if there's something you wanted to cover.
Yeah, did you guys hear that Al-Qaeda is made up mostly of Mormons?
Oh, fuck, really?
Yeah. Al-Qaeda, the fucking group that took the bird sanctuary hostage in Oregon.
Yeah.
I love that.
Talibundis.
The Talibundis, the Al-Qaeda, I love it.
Yokel Haram.
Well, you know, if you
Al-Qaeda.
yeah, Al-Qaeda.
Love it. So they're Mormons.
Yeah, and
They're
one of the
fucking-
guys in the group calls himself Captain Moroni.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Lord.
It's Moroni.
Although that's been shortened. That's been shortened for me as Captain Moron.
Or just moron.
Yeah. Oh shit. Oh, this is going to be interesting.
I thought the
Yes.
were friendly.
Yeah, no, look up something called the Mountain Meadows Massacre and you'll find out how friendly Mormons can be.
I've heard that. I have. I just.
Yeah.
I posted to the initial article I saw about it when it started. I said, nothing a strafing run wouldn't fix.
Yeah.
I'm a non-violent person, but seriously, people, you're taking on one of the world's strongest militaries. Well, probably is the strongest military. Do you honestly think you have a fucking prayer in hell if the government wanted to shut you the fuck down?
They're not taking shit. They couldn't even think far enough ahead to, one, bring food, or two, create a list of demands. What happened was they said, we're going to stay here until our demands are met. And the government said, okay, what are your demands?
I was just going to ask, like, what is the point of this takeover that they've done?
The official line is they want to call attention to what they see as an abuse of power with the regulation of federally owned lands by the U.S. government.
Okay.
They want for these federally owned lands to be turned over to state or local control. That way, the EPA and the Department of the Interior doesn't get a say in how these lands are managed.
Uh-huh.
That's the whole thing. And with Cliven Bundy's whatever the fuck that thing was, a year, 2 years ago.
Yes.
The whole reason for that standoff was because the U.S. government tried to collect grazing fees, which Cliven Bundy legally owes to the U.S. government, and he refuses to pay because those fees are paid to the Treasury by ranchers whose cattle graze on federally owned lands.
Yes.
Now, these two brothers, I think the Eastmans.
No, they're Bundy kids.
I don't remember their last name, but they're going to prison for 5 years because they set fires that burned portions of federal land, and the federal government saw that as vandalism of the land and endangering human and animal life on federally owned land.
It's fucking arson.
So they were rightly convicted. They're going to prison for 5 years, and Ammo Bundy, who is Cliven's son, got this bright idea. Well, we don't want them to go to prison, so we're going to take over a fucking birdhouse in Oregon.
Did you say his name was Ammo?
Yes, I did.
Ammon.
Okay.
Fuck that. He's a fat redneck ammosexual. His name is Ammo.
Yeah. I was just going to ask you, is that why you okay, you just answered my question.
Ammosexual, love it.
So what they've done is they've gone up to Oregon to have this grand standoff about how many people are there. They say there's 150, but if you ask any of the spectators who watch them walk into this compound, they're released from prison, and these two brothers have said, these guys are nuts. We don't want their support. And every other militia in the United States, including the Oath Keepers, have said, there was a different way to go about this, and we're really not happy that they did this.
Oh, Katie has another good one. She's called them Yokel Haram. Love it.
Love it.
Go, Katie. Yokel Haram.
See, if you went there with bacon, they'd welcome you with open arms.
Wow, these guys sound like a bunch of fucking idiots.
Well, if David's correct on the no food item, they might welcome bacon.
I'm thinking. Well, there's no.
You know what? I bet you that their traveling minstrel is Ted Nugent.
Probably.
Well,
God.
and there's no prohibition of eating bacon in Mormonism, but they can't have coffee or soda or tea.
Or hot
Smoky
drinks.
coffee beans.
Yeah.
Espresso roasted.
There
Here, have a
we go.
that coffee, motherfucker.
Yeah. Send them lots of coffee, and well, they can't have booze, so send them some beer and
Send them
coffee.
caffeinated beer.
Caffeinated beer. There we go. Or
No. Don't send them beer. That's too general. Send them shitty beer, like the stuff that comes out of Anheuser-Busch.
Ah.
We could send them some peels. That's even worse.
Shots fired.
Now, Katie says that the Hammonds are the ones that set fires to cover up for poaching because they killed a whole herd of elk.
Oh, damn.
I didn't know the specifics on it, but yes, it was the Hammonds. I said Eastmans earlier, but I admitted that.
Okay.
Wow.
Sorry. Yeah, you kind of fade in and out a bit there, Foda. So just so you know.
Nothing I can do about it. Sorry.
I know, it's your damn phone. I
Well,
always
you
know.
still have to hold it closer to your mouth.
Yeah, well, there's that. I always know when he's on.
After that, I'll be licking the microphone.
Then you'd have to turn on video for that. I'm sorry.
Picture it didn't happen.
What's that, Foda?
Picture it didn't happen.
Yep.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a pay-per-view special right there.
Yeah, Patreons, man, Patreons.
Speaking of, Shujin,
Is pay-per-view still around?
there's a note that I've got on my Facebook page called "An Evening with Benny Hinn." And you were talking about pay-per-view, and the only way that you can actually see this now is to buy one of the DVDs from this event. But Benny Hinn had as his guest a preacher from North Carolina. His name is Mike Murdoch. He's a prosperity gospel preacher. He's a wealthy man now, as you might expect. Not wealthy in the sense that Joel Osteen or Benny Hinn himself are wealthy, but he's pretty wealthy. He was Hinn's guest for this event. And on stage, this man literally gave oral to the Bible. Rubbing it on
Ew.
a crowd of probably 2,000 or 3,000 people.
Why?
Fucking insane. Because he loved God and he loves God's word. That was his whole point.
Ew.
I was there at the event, and we were live tweeting the whole time. And the note that is a list of those live tweets.
Wow, that'd be awesome.
Ugh.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, Dave.
So,
Dave, I'm sorry. The way that you're describing this now, the only thing I can think of, and I know full well that you'd appreciate it, is, yeah, he would love the Word of God up until two little words, paper cut.
yeah, that was smart, I'm thinking.
Actually, no, that'd be dumb.
Oh.
Deadpan that. Actually, that would be dumb.
Very
Actually,
nice.
Come to think of it, that would be Jewish, come to think of it now.
Oh, very nicely done.
There's a professional moil involved.
Yeah. Nicely done, nicely done. So there we go. We'll round out the show with Yokel Haram and Yal-Qaeda and Captain Moron. Moroni. Moron. I'm going with the moron. Awesome. So before we go, so Beth, where can we find you? Beth, you're muted.
You can find her behind her mute button.
There we go. Sorry.
There she is.
Couldn't find the button again. The easiest way to find me is on Twitter, Dune998, which connects to both my Facebook and my blog, Havoc and Chaos Live. Or Havoc and Chaos. The live part is on YouTube. And you can find me on Facebook at Beth A. Hambridge. Make sure you have the A, or you won't get much news.
Excellent. Yes, because the one without the A is the sanitized, non-heating. Yeah.
Yeah, it's my vanilla. God, I have to deal with my family, although I don't have any left on there. I deleted them all. But yeah, I don't post on that one. Very rare. But the kids are on there, so I keep it.
There you go. Miss Brigid, do you have anything you wish to plug?
No, you can find me on Holy Crap the Vlogcast on Saturday nights.
Oh, you have a blog? You plugged it in?
And you have a blog, woman.
I do. It's Brigid.Fitch2112 at WordPress.com. And you can find me on Facebook under Brigid Fitch.
Excellent. And Tech. Do you have anything you plug? You don't usually, but you never know.
Yeah, well, you can find me in two places. You can find me on Shujin Tribble show, Holy Crap, the Vlogcast.
Yes.
I'll tell you all about it. And you can also find me crying in the corner of your local neighborhood Taco Bell.
Oh, there you
go.
Awesome. And also you can sometimes find someone else's pussy on your lap, so there you go.
Only when I'm not eating tacos.
Exactly. Oh shit. And
don't worry about the crumbs.
Yeah.
Not the sour cream.
And late comer to the show, Dave fucking Foda, which is Dave fucking fuck, if anybody knows. Where the hell can we find you?
Excuse me, you call me right in the middle of clearing my throat.
Sorry.
You can find me on Twitter at DavePhoto. That's DavePhoto with no dots, dashes, or spaces. And you can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/Dave.photo. For the next couple of days, I will be kind of out of commission. I am traveling to Oregon to deliver some food to some needy people.
Oh, wow. Very cool. That would be some bacon and coffee, yes?
Tell them some Twinkies. Tell them
I
what they're
thought we
finishing.
decided
No, ding dongs.
Ding dongs. Ding dongs.
Oh.
And I've actually been binging on Weird Al videos lately, so anyone knows the fat video? Ding dongs, bad ding dongs.
Well, Midwest of Susie Q's. Or ho-hos.
Ho-hos, there we go. Some ho-hos. Yep. Just no little Debbies, okay? Just not even.
Oh, I gotta have these.
Wait, not even little Debbie turd rolls?
No. Oh yeah, Beth's all happy because I brought her a bunch of coffee crisps, so she's all happy. I'm surprised there's any left, actually.
I have a bag and a half left.
Good job.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna have to wait a while before I can get you some more. So just saying. And of course, to round out the evening, the Shujin Tribble. Where the hell do we find you?
First off, you need to remember something. Since these guys are apparently not Muslim, yeah, throwing little Debbies at them isn't going to do anything. Keep that in mind for what you're sending their way.
Yeah, that's true. Well, but Mormons,
Yeah, well, you have to send them in packages of 3 apparently at a time. So
no, because the Muslims take 4. So if they're Mormons, you got to send them in packs of like a half a dozen at least.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
I just hate it when somebody else's jokes are better than mine. God damn it. See, and this whole time you're mispronouncing it as Dave motherfucking Foda. I've tried to explain this before. You don't listen to me.
Well, you heard
All right.
about Foda, right? That'd be
Yes.
Dave father-fucking Foda.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
No.
because I have
Halal.
no, because I have fucked a mother before, but I've never fucked a mother.
this is true. There you go. So
Yeah, I can actually honestly attest, just like Dave, that I was a motherfucker at one point.
but never a fatherfucker.
Oh,
Okay.
no, never touched the stuff. I heard it's habit forming.
Actually,
So
wait a
she
minute. Does masturbation count in that case? Because I mean, there's a
No.
whole gray line about this whole thing.
Well,
that we
you're
might
not
cover.
actually fucking yourself. You're just manhandling yourself.
Well,
No, that's not. No, that's not true. If you masturbate, your hand can get pregnant in the afterlife.
No,
that's right.
I thought it just grew a lot of hair.
No.
No, it can.
No.
No, it gets pregnant. Okay. Well, what do I know? Shujin, where the fuck do we find you?
You know, I had like 14 different things I was going to say, and you know what? They all wanted to come out at the same time. It's not going to happen. So screw it. We'll do it the easy way. Find the show, holycrapthevlogcast.com. All of the links for the show are over there. But if you want to find me, you can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, G+, although I'm not really happy with G+ right now, at Shujin Tribble, 2 words, or just 1, depending. Just search for Shujin Tribble on Google. It'll find freaking everything. Or you could use Alta Vista, in which case, that's sad.
Alta Vista. Oh, wow. I remember Alta Vista. I used to use that once upon a long
That
time.
thing is still
You remember-
around.
What's that?
Do you
Dave?
remember Hotbot?
I remember
Yeah.
Hotbot. I remember
Yeah.
Ask Jeeves. Shit, I remember Bing. So, you know, I'm old, man. I'm old as far as tech is concerned.
Oh.
Okay, I heard.
Bing is awful, and it's fucking insidious. Drives me crazy. Even when I worked for Microsoft, we were like, yeah, so the Bing, yeah, we don't like it.
Hmm.
It
Anyway.
sucks.
But,
I
yeah.
like Windows 10 when Bing is first installed and you do a search. You type in google.com and it does a search for google.com and it can't find it.
I haven't had that.
Wow.
pleasure. Wow.
So, yeah, folks can find me all over the place. And, yes, I am one of these stranger atheist people out there. And you want to find out why? Ask. I'll be more than happy to let you know all of the facets that involve me. Because I'm a weird one.
Oh, but that's why we like you. Because who the hell wants normal? What the fuck
Some
is normal anyway?
some people don't like some of the facets. And you know what? I don't care.
Good. Excellent. Well,
Strong.
thank you, everyone, for joining us this evening. It was, as I say, we were planning to do things a little differently, and Murphy fucked us over, which is what Murphy does, and, you know, someone needs to kick that guy's ass in nasty, horrible ways. So, but thank you, everyone, for joining us. We had fun. It's nice to do things a little differently once in a while. And thanks for Dave for showing the fuck up and, you know, being
You're welcome.
Dave, I guess.
Thanks, Dave.
You're welcome.
Dave's
Excellent.
not here, man.
So, and as usual, well, I guess I should say, we of course will be back next week with Beyond the Trailer Park. Atheist Apocalypse at atheistapocalypse.com. We are on our sort of holiday hiatus until February, but all of season 1 is out there, so go check us out. We've got lots going on with last season, and season 2 will be starting February 1st. Unless you're a patron, then you get it, I think, January 29th or something like that. But you get it before. So, yeah, atheistapocalypse.com. My Secular Savior should be making a comeback. We know we kind of vanished off the face of the earth. A lot of reasons for that, but I'm in some talks with some cool people maybe, but we'll see what happens there. So keep your eyes open. I think that's it for now. We will, of course, be back next week. For Miss Ashley, she's had some issues with family and wasn't able to make it out this week. Wishing her the best as always. Looking like she might be coming up this way for next Christmas. We'll talk about that. Hopefully next week she'll be with us and we can talk about that then.
Congratulations on remembering all the shit to plug for yourself. God damn, it's like pulling teeth with you sometimes.
Yeah, I know. Well, I foisted off the Atheist Apocalypse on Joseph now, so, it's one less thing.
Excuse. Go on.
It's okay. Oh, and Tech's back with us. Yay. So, as usual, and like I said, one of these days, if he's here, I'm going to make him read it his fucking self, but we're going to close out the evening with Foda's Humanist Creed, if everyone could mute themselves, so Google doesn't do its stupid muting the main feed when someone makes a shuffling noise. That'd be great. And we'll see everyone back here next week at Beyond the Trailer Park. And for now, the recorded version of Dave motherfucking Foda. So until then, we will see you.
I know the truth and power of reason and of rational thinking, and I will use them to my advantage. I know the truth and power of educating myself and of expanding my intellectual boundaries, and I will educate myself. I know the truth and power of vanquishing ignorance, and I will do so whenever the opportunity presents itself. I know the truth and power of morality without supervision, and of true and accurate righteousness. I know the truth and power of obliterating tyranny, be it intellectual, emotional, or philosophical, and will work toward that goal whenever and however possible. I know the truth and power of human ingenuity. I know the truth and power of human compassion, and I will be mindful of the welfare of others. I know the truth and power of equality and fairness for all living things. I know the truth and power of the importance of our families, our friends, and our fellow men and women. I know the truth and power of human stewardship of our lands, our waters, and our skies, and I will try to act to preserve our environment. I know the truth and power of the sciences of mathematics, of physics, and of chemistry, and of the important role of these disciplines in understanding the workings of this cosmos. I know the truth and power of the rejection of all notions or beliefs that reside in the supernatural or the superstitious, and of those notions or beliefs that we are not supposed to be able to explain. And I know that these rejections are necessary for humankind's survival. I am a human being with a free mind, liberated from irrational influence and from unreasonable dogma.